If you're headed to Japan, then this video is for you. These are survival tips for your first trip to Japan. I'm Michelle, the traveling cheesehead. I'm excited today to jump into one of my favorite destinations, but one that seems to get people a little concerned, and that is Japan. It can be super overwhelming when you're going for your first time, and planning it can there's so much information out there you don't even know where to begin. Well, I'm gonna give you some survival tips for the first trip to Japan so you can have an incredible experience and tell all your friends about it when you return. The first is before you even leave. It is your packing. Please do not overpack for Japan. Everything is smaller there. You're gonna wanna try as hard as you can to pack in a carry-on only. I know this seems way impossible if you're going for any length of time. The reason you want to not overpack is because you're going to want to bring some things back with you, but my handy tip is to pack a foldable that you can then use as additional luggage for your trip home. Now, this may mean that you check a bag on the way home. You'll be able to bring back some souvenirs, some things that you've picked up throughout your journeys. So make sure that you don't overpack, keep it succinct. It's gonna help you when you are maneuvering from the airport to the hotel or in between cities, because you're not gonna have to worry about lugging these big bags up and down the stairs or throughout the train stations, which can get a little dicey. My second tip is to make sure you understand the etiquette in Japan. I have another video all about the things not to do as a tourist in Japan, so make sure you check that one out. But you want to follow the protocol, the etiquette, the rules. If you're not sure what to do, just look around and follow suit for the people around you. If they're standing in line, get in line. If they're removing their shoes, remove your shoes. If they're quiet, don't be loud. Some of it is just common sense, but you need to be aware of yourself and your surroundings and what the others are doing, and just follow suit. My next tip is to make sure that you have comfortable shoes, because believe me, you will do a lot of walking in Japan. Even though the public transportation is there and it's great and you're going to use it a lot, comfortable shoes are going to be your friend. The last thing you want to do is have shoes that are pinching or uncomfortable or tight. And I do have some suggestions for you down in the show notes for you to check out of shoes that I've used personally that have been incredibly comfortable. So my next set of tips here is kind of in the technology aspect of things. Number one, you are going to want to download Google Maps for the cities that you're visiting. Now, you may have data, and we're going to get into some options for that later, but for most people, they may not have access to their data when they're traveling, depending on your phone plan. So downloading your Google Maps means that you can access it offline, and you will be able to see where you are, get directions and things of that nature, so you kind of know where you need to go. This is going to be helpful as you are walking from, we used this in Kyoto when we were doing our walking tour, to be able to see where we were going from point A to point B and where we needed to go next, making sure we were headed the right direction, all of those things. So don't forget to download your Google Maps for the cities that you're going to be visiting. The next is use Google Translate. I cannot stress enough how helpful this was. While most things are written in English and Japanese, you're gonna find some circumstances where they're not, specifically when you're shopping or when you're visiting a restaurant and you are looking at a Japanese menu. It's not gonna be translated to English and you wanna know what you're gonna be eating. Just scan Google Translate over the word and it will bring it up in English, so you have at least a good idea of what it is you're looking at. So when we talked about data, obviously some phone plans will have international service that you can add on. So my first step is to tell you to go check your phone plan, see what they offer, cost it out, and see if that's the best route for you. Your other two options really are a pocket Wi-Fi, which can be very helpful. We used one when we were in Kyoto and it was really great for us to access data and things of that nature. But now we have a whole new set of technology called eSIM. And eSIMs are great for when you're traveling internationally and abroad, because you can download an eSIM and then use it in the destination that you're visiting, and it works just like your regular phone, except that you are now using a different SIM. So if you want some more information about that, again, I have some information down in the notes. All right, the next thing is Japan is incredibly efficient and on time. So please make sure that you arrive well before your scheduled departure, whether it be for a tour or for a train or for a bus. They are incredibly on time and they will not wait for you. So make sure that you are there on time. If something's scheduled to start at a certain time, it will start at a certain time. They really look at it as a failure if they're even a minute late. So keep that in mind when you're using public transportation. And my next thing is use the public transportation. Don't be overwhelmed or afraid of this. Taxis are incredibly expensive. And while they can get you to point A to point B, you're not really experiencing the city as a local when you do that. Go get yourself a Suica card. When you arrive at the airport, they'll need your passport to purchase it, and then you can load that up to use on the public transportation system as you're exploring the city. You can also use the Suica card in convenience stores to make little purchases here and there. My next tip is about standing in line. You will find that a lot of places it is very prevalent for you to queue up, whether that be to board the train, whether that be to enter a restaurant, whether it be to go on a tour, or even when you're visiting a shrine and you want to go get your Goshinko book stamped. There are lines everywhere. People are very respectful of lines. They will stand and be patient. So you cannot go in and expect that you're just going to jump into a mob and cut in the line. It is really, really frowned upon. So make sure that you bring your patience and you go stand in line. It may cost you a couple hours sometimes, depending on the attraction that you're visiting, but it will move efficiently. They do keep everybody orderly, and again, rule followers. So make sure that you bring your patience and be prepared to stand in line. Now, my next tip is when you are visiting Japan, while you do not need to speak Japanese at all, it is always great to learn a few phrases in the language of the country you're visiting. And this is no different for Japan. Learning some simple greetings and phrases is going to go a long way. They are very appreciative of the fact that you're trying to learn their language. They know it's not easy. Heck, they had to learn English, and that's not easy. So they really appreciate the extra effort that you put into learning some specific phrases. Just some pleases, thank yous, hello, goodbyes, and maybe a basic question here or there can go a long way to building rapport with the locals and having them be a little bit more willing to help you out when you get stuck. That being said, the Japanese people are super friendly and will go out of their way to help you. So learning a couple phrases is just showing another way of appreciation to that person that you spent a little bit extra time to learn a little bit more about their culture. All right, my last two tips are when you are moving around. Now, you will be paying for some things in cash. While credit and Suica and things of that nature are very prevalent, so is cash. If you're visiting the temples specifically and some small mom and pop shops, they may not have credit card services available. And because of this, you are going to carry some yen with you. But keep in mind, the smallest bill is like 1,000 yen. So when you're getting change, and you will get change, you will need to get a small coin purse to keep all of these coins in. This will become very helpful when you are visiting the shrines and you're wanting to get your stamp in your Goshinko book, or you're visiting and they have an entrance fee that's maybe a couple hundred yen, or even just 100 yen. You want to have all these coins but you don't want to keep them in your pockets. So having a small little coin purse, and they sell them, it's a great little souvenir to pick up like your first day and then use throughout your trip. That's what I did. And I love my little coin purse. It's super adorable. And I still use it every day now that I'm back at home. And finally, while you are walking around, Japan is incredibly clean. You are going to be astonished by how clean Japan is. The streets of Tokyo, this is a mega city. You would expect that there would be trash on the ground, that would be, spots where it would be dirty and things like that. And it's not. It is so pristine. It looks like a movie set. It is hard to believe that this many people live in this city, and it is so sparkling clean. Yet, it has virtually no trash cans anywhere. So when you are out and about exploring the city, you want to make sure you carry a small trash bag with you because there's nowhere to throw your trash. Every now and then you'll come across one in a train station, or you'll come across one at a convenience store, but not very often. So just be prepared to carry your trash with you, and carrying a small or a few plastic bags that you can use as trash bags is going to help you a lot, because otherwise you're just going to have to kind of carry your trash in your pocket, because littering is not acceptable. Well, I hope you have found these travel survival tips for your first trip to Japan helpful. I'm sure there's things that I've missed, but if you have come across anything on your travels that you'd like to share as a survival tip, let's help each other out. Put them down in the comments. Let's get a conversation going. I hope to see you next time on The Traveling Cheesehead. Until then, travel safe. Where are we going next? Let's go.